It's an insurance, it's the Federal Insurance Institute that
the ratings.
rates
Okay.
the district.
So just in paragraph 1 under number 2, that we just need to make a correction there to make it an ISO versus an IOS. Insurance Services Office. Thank you.
Anybody else have any corrections or comments or questions on the minutes? All those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Next item is the minutes from our October 6th Select Board meeting.
I move to approve the October 6th meeting minutes.
Second.
Lee Gustafson's the motion and Lee Dakin's the second. Any changes, questions, corrections, omissions, errors, anything on these minutes from our October 6th meeting?
I have none.
I have none.
Everybody's okay with them? All those in favor of approving the minutes as written, please say aye.
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 Nobody opposed?
And just for the record, I did not vote because I was not at the meetings. Thank you.
All right, Heather, thanks. Next item is citizens' comments. If there's someone here that would like to address the board regarding an issue that is not on the agenda, now would be the time to do so. Are there any citizens' comments? And we don't have any citizens here at the town hall, but if there's anybody out in our Zoom audience that has any comments they would like to make, now would be the time. Any citizens' comments? No answers from previous meetings, Julie?
No.
Nothing? All right, go right to old business. Julie, can you take us to our old business list?
I can. So I've talked to you in the past about the time clock system. That came into effect starting on Monday. We are working through the transition. For those of us who have never punched a time clock, it's a little difficult to remember. I forgot today, as a matter of fact. So we'll be continuing training with the department heads throughout this first payroll. But so far it's been fairly well received by employees. The next step will be replacing the NEMRIC payroll program with the payroll program that goes with this time management system so that it is a more fluid process. For payroll, we'll save Sil many hours during her month, freeing her up to do other things. So that will be phase 2 that I'll be including in the budget, not an expensive item for what we're getting, and will be a good addition in helping to create some efficiency for us.
Julie, is it time thing for all employees?
It is all employees, including myself. So salaried employees are not paid based on the time clock system, but it really is a tracking and just management tool for all of us. At the end of a year, I want to see, how many hours are salaried employees working. I mean, if all of our salaried employees are working 50, 55 hours a week average, I need to know that, So
Right.
that's more of a management tool. It also helps with designating time off, managing those accruals of vacation time, sick time. This system does that for us. So that's another huge benefit. Still doesn't have to have a separate spread. There's so many data entry points right now in our payroll process, and each data entry point is a potential for error. And so in data entry, the less times you can do data entry, the more efficient you are, and the less chance for mistakes. So we're trying to get rid of, not that Sil makes a lot of mistakes, I don't want to say that either, but any time that there's data entry points, there's potential error.
But you're saving time.
We're saving time. This is going to save her probably, we're estimating 16 to 20 hours a month.
Well, that's
That's good.
It's substantial, and it will free her up to do some of the financial things that her and I have really been wanting to look at, some more forecasting and that type of stuff. It'll free her up to help me with that part of it. So, and it just makes it more fluid, more efficient, more accurate. Auditors love it. It just helps all the way around.
Great.
Yeah. the budget process, so I'm starting the budget process. I'm a little later than I wanted to be, but I'll be bringing the budget and the third quarter financials at the same time at your first meeting in November. I did learn when I went to the town managers conference last week that there are a lot of towns that instead of doing the budget process the way we do, they have what they call a budget day. And so it's a long meeting. For some towns, it's like a whole Saturday, but I'm not proposing that. But it's one long meeting. All the department heads come in. They talk about their needs. That way, it's all in the select board's mind. They have a bigger picture instead of breaking it up. And then after that, the town manager takes all of that information, goes, prepares the budget, brings it back to the next meeting. I don't know if that's anything that we're interested in doing, or if we want to do it the way we did last year, where the whole public safety department came in one day, water sewer came in one day, highway, all public works came in one day. I leave that up to you to tell me how you'd like to do it. I had never heard of a budget day, so didn't know if that was something you were interested in.
How much, if you're doing the budget day, how much of the department heads involved?
They are coming and doing a presentation like you guys did last year. It's just all done in one day,
Yeah.
not separate meetings.
Right.
Julie, is your opinion that it would be worth something to try, or what's your opinion?
It might be worth trying. I just don't know if it's going to be overload for you guys to hear from all of them in one. Not that you have to make decisions that day.
Right.
It's
Right.
just info gathering that day. So that's why I'm leaving that up. Do you feel like that's just too much information in one setting? It would be a couple-hour meeting by the time you heard from everybody.
Yep. I read through what you had written or given us, and I think it's a great idea to try.
Okay. How does everybody else
I'm
feel?
not convinced.
I'm not either.
I
see it
think,
from both sides of the
Yeah.
coin. I just think it's gonna be too much crammed into one. I think
Okay.
maybe a couple of days.
Okay,
my concern is that you kind of lose the details because it's like trying to drink from a fire hose.
sure.
And you're just going to get thrown against the wall with the information. So,
Okay.
I mean, maybe it's worth trying, I don't know, but I think dividing up into two,
That's the same.
whatever. The other thing I was thinking about was it's always helpful to have something to look at when people are making presentations. So maybe you talk to the department heads, get their first brush, give it to us, and then we sit down with the department heads when they come in.
And that's kind of what we did last year.
Right.
We can do the same thing. Maybe what we'll do is to accommodate both what Lee would like and what you guys would like is, like Jeff suggested, split it into two. Have half the department heads come to one meeting, you'll have that budget, you can look at it. And then have half the department heads come to another meeting. Again, you'll have the budget in front of you to be able to look at.
And just from remembering what we've done in the past, it seems like some of the departments have, I don't know, bigger budgets, but more items in their budget than others. So maybe we separate
Sure.
those so we're not just, trying to cram a whole bunch into one meeting.
You don't want to do public safety and highway on the same day.
Exactly,
Separate
yeah.
them. Yep. Yep. Okay.
I mean, we usually, when we look at this, we'd have an initial presentation just to get the budget before we even get the heads in here. So you get a chance to at least look it over and see what the numbers are before the department heads come in and do a presentation and stuff. So it gives us a little time.
So that's how we did it last year. So you want to do it that same way?
Well, at least that initial
Sure.
one, I think.
That's fine.
Just so we could, even without the department
Yeah.
heads, so we could look at the numbers, and then we could take it home with us
Okay.
and,
Okay. So I'll give you numbers at the first meeting in November. Second meeting in November, I will have half the department heads come in. First meeting in December, the second half will come in.
I just think getting the information up front, everybody can formulate questions or, in their head, and then ask them why the department heads are here. To
Okay.
be more clear, I think.
Okay. All right. That's what we'll
And,
do.
sorry, Julie, to keep badgering you, but it seems like if we have the presentation include, here's what we absolutely need, and then here's what we'd like to do, so that we're kind of thinking ahead, not just for 2022, but maybe looking down the road, where do we want to be in 5 years? And what does that mean for the budget for next year?
Okay, so last year, you guys didn't get their wants, you only got what they need. We flushed out the wants. So this year, the budget I'm going to propose is going to be the needs, and I will let them present some pre-discussed wants.
Yep.
I
And
don't
that's-
want them dumping their, you know what I mean? So, okay,
Well, last year was a
Okay.
little different because of COVID and finances and uncertainty and a lot of things that were coming down the pike. So it was kind of just what you need at this time. And
I think this year is going to be the same.
Yeah.
This year is going to be that same way. You know, we've got some cost overruns on the highway building, and we've got some things we've got to make up for. So this year is going to be a bare bones year as well.
And 24 is supposed to be our.
That's our hurdle we need to get
yeah,
over.
Right,
Correct.
okay.
Oh, and the
correct.
capital plan.
Yep, yep. And all department heads are fully aware of. I keep them, I think I keep them in the loop as to what's going on financially, so.
Oh, they're a big part of it, so.
Well, they are. They're the ones that are running their departments day to day, not me. So.
That's right.
Okay, all right, I got it. Hang on, I gotta write it down.
ARPA funds.
I won't remember it.
Did you write it there?
I wrote it down, I won't remember it if I don't. ARPA funds, lots of discussion taking place and at the managers conference about ARPA funding. Things are really starting to kind of come to a head now, more information is coming out. I do think I'm going to look at the category of revenue shortfall, at least run the formula and see what that looks like for Chester. They're strongly recommending that all towns look at that. So I am going to do that. That pot of money makes it easy, because at that pot of money, we can do whatever we want with it, including just using it to offset your budget. You don't have to meet any kind of a COVID nexus. So it would be, I think, important to know what that number is for Chester.
Or how they get
Gives
there.
some freezing. Well, there's a formula that is used.
For the revenue short.
Yes, there is a formula that has been designed by Congress of how you figure out what that number is.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why most town managers are saying, I'm not even touching that.
Right.
But now they're saying, you know, you really ought to. So I will be working with our auditors on that formula,
You know when that's going to hit?
how to come up with that number, what is
You know
going
when
to.
it's going to hit?
What?
When we might receive those funds?
We have received the first half.
Oh, we have?
We have
And
it.
these are the ones that we can just do whatever we want with?
No.
Okay, that's
No.
what I'm asking.
No. So the use of the funds is broken into 5 basic categories. Four of those categories, there is a list of 66 things that you can somehow fit your projects into, and they're developed by Congress, so it's extremely restrictive, even though they don't think it is, but whatever. Anyway, one of the categories is this revenue shortfall. So you can figure out of the money that you're getting, what your revenue shortfall was for 2020 and part of 2021. Whatever that number is, so say for Chester, it's $100,000. Out of the $900,000 that we're getting, the $100,000 that shows up as a revenue shortfall, we can use on whatever we want.
Okay.
It doesn't have to fit into the other 4 categories. So I got to run the formula. I'm going to need Ron's help to make sure I'm using right numbers. I want to make sure it's accurate what we're doing. But I am going to run it and see. I was going to avoid it like the plague, like most other town managers in the state, but we're all being told it's actually, you really need to run it and see where you land. So I'm gonna.
Okay.
So,
Can we do this? And the answer is, I don't know. Because things are still being flushed out.
Yeah, so it would make more sense to
Let's get
know
the-
more
yeah.
about what we can or can't do
Exactly.
before we have a meeting and then just sit here and say, we don't know.
We don't know, exactly.
Right.
so when they ask us how we spent the money, can we say we don't know?
I will be doing quarterly reporting to the federal government to tell them how we are spending our money.
I'm not sure if that's.
And
how
I don't
it
think
works,
that's
Jeff.
going to work.
Try
Playing
that on
their
the
game.
IRS, Jeff.
I think I'll get a letter telling me to give my money back.
Right, okay.
So anyways, it's a work in progress. Again, money has to be obligated by 12/31/24. spent by 12/31/26. So we have time. I am also going to be talking, I told you guys this, Ramus was on vacation, him and I have been playing some phone tag, but I'm going to sit down with him because we are sitting on about $450,000. And you are allowed to invest your money, and the interest earned is yours to use on whatever you want. So I don't want $450,000 sitting in a checking account that's earning 0.01% interest. So we're going to talk about what we can do with that, keeping it relatively liquid but earning something, So I'll be back with that. Him and I just haven't been able to connect because of schedules. And then the green, so I don't know if this is really old business, but Scott Wonderly reached out. There is a new property owner in town, Julian, I'm sure I'm going to massacre this, Satava, I believe, who has very generously donated 2 of the beautiful green benches that we have in front of the info booth. He's purchasing 2 of those that he would like to add to replace some of the rundown ones that are on the green. He also wanted to fund some trees or, some plantings. So Scott reached out to me. I did say, yes, please go ahead. We'll definitely take him up on the benches. As far as planting any trees on the green, that's not my call. I don't feel directly. So Scott and I both feel that it's time to look at more of a comprehensive plan for the green, for that space in front of the Academy building. We've talked about this for years. And what do we want that to look like? So Scott is going to work with him. He's going to work with Chester Townscape and myself, come up with what we think might be a couple good options, bring it back to you in the spring. ARPA money is able to be used for the creation of what they call outdoor spaces. And this would certainly be something that could potentially qualify. So we'll be back with that.
Are you going to have a discussion about parking at the same time?
Well, we absolutely can. Yes, it all fits.
I just want to remind everybody that we got to be careful on the plantings on the green,
Correct.
because there's so many utilities there, water, sewer, there's an old cistern there that's covered up that it's still there.
And I don't know that we want more trees. Some of the trees we have cause problems. So, it needs to be looked at
Yeah.
holistically, the whole thing.
Underground power and stuff
Yeah,
that we got in there
exactly.
too, so it's just got to be careful.
Yeah.
Well, it's awful nice of the gentleman
Absolutely.
to donate
Yeah,
those
oh,
2
yeah,
benches
definitely.
like that.
Wonderful
and to offer
donation.
trees on
Yeah.
the green in general like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's pretty generous of him.
It is a
It's
very
pretty nice.
generous donation, yes, and very much thank you. So I have mailed him a thank you card, but wanted to let you all know.
Thank you.
And the last thing is the ambulance department. I just wanted to give an update. I learned today that, and I don't want to get into the weeds or the minutia, just to get out there in this forum in case any board members or community members are aware, we apparently have a couple of people in town who have called the state EMS department, indicating that the town and how we are using our mutual aid services is not in compliance with state law. And I just want people to know that it absolutely is. I am in constant communication with Ray Walker, Will Moran, Bambi Dane from the state. We are doing things a little bit differently while our numbers are short. It has all been approved by the state. Everything we are doing is above board in providing the best coverage that we can for our citizens and the citizens of Andover. So in case that is out there, I just want to make sure that our citizens know that we are above board. We are not doing anything wrong. We are doing exactly what we should be, and we're covered.
So if we get questions about that, do we direct them to you? or
Please just
me?
direct them to me, absolutely, and I can get into details of specifics as to what we are doing if people have a concern. Yeah, and that's all I have for old business.
Thanks, Julie.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any old business that they're concerned about or would like to discuss?
No,
No, we'll move on. New business, future agenda items. There's some note around here that says the town was donated 4 conference speaker microphones.
Yes, so we have a property owner in Cavendish, the new owners of the Governor's Inn, purchased actually 40 device. He works for Yamaha. He donated 40 of these large microphone speakers that you plug into a computer, so that, you know, we could set one in the middle of us to have a Zoom conference, and it's a microphone and a speaker. So they're the larger ones, are very nice. He donated 40 of them to be shared between Cavendish, Ludlow, Chester, and I think Andover was included in that as well. So I was able to secure several for the schools, one for the library, and we took 4 here for Town Hall between us, the Emergency Services Department, Police Department has one, and library. That was the 4. So just a very nice donation, and again, you know, thank you so much. That was very kind to think of us.
Excuse me, Julie?
Yeah.
Who is the last person who's accessing this gift?
It's the new owners of the Governor's Inn.
Right, but the last sentence you said.
You said it was the library.
Oh, who I
Oh,
gave.
library.
Yes, the library. So I
Okay.
secured them for
I just
both.
missed
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's another,
Very generous donation. Yeah,
thank the gentleman. Holger Stoltz?
yeah.
Wow. Nice. Does anybody on the board have any items that they would like to see on future agendas? It's going to be a quiet, quick meeting, I hope. Next item on our agenda is an executive session to go over our Andover Fire Ambulance contract. And I would entertain a motion, well, for us to explain it, that we should go into executive session because of information that we're going to be discussing would influence our contract negotiation or our monetary negotiations in this. So I would entertain a motion that we go into executive session for the purpose of negotiating an Andover Fire Ambulance contract.
So moved.
Second.
Heather's the motion and Lee Dakins
Lee Gustafson.
the second.
Lee Gustafson's the second.
That was me.
Lee Gustafson's the second, thanks.
And are we inviting Julian?
Julie, yes, inviting Julie to be in the meeting with us. Any discussion on this? All those in favor of entering executive session, please say aye.
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 All right.
Can you put me in the waiting room?
Sure we can, Sean, yep.